Freckles, I got so many answers to that question, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Hello everyone, it is me, Seanie B, and I got a great show, a long show for you guys today, going over everything that happened in the 15th episode of Season 6 of Lost called Across the Sea. This episode generated a lot of disappointment across the net, or so it seemed, and to be honest, at first I was a little let down because of all the hype and expectations, but after watching it again and thinking about it more, I actually grew to like it a lot. This episode gave us a great background on the relationship between Jacob and the Man in Black, and actually made us feel bad for the Man in Black because all he wants to do is just leave the island. I mean, yeah, there were some questions I was hoping to get an answer to, obviously, but it's almost like the audience is another character in the show and just as confused as the characters who aren't getting any answers, and in a way, that's what makes the show so great. And really, who cares what I think about this episode? Here, I'll play for you guys what the producers actually said about it.
This is what answers on Lost look like. I mean, I think there is this idea that audience members have in their head that they want answers, but they don't really want answers in the sense that giving answers can be didactic, and in this case, giving you a piece of island history, which we thought was interesting, involves basically having to introduce a bunch of characters who are not series regulars. You only see the sort of regular cast at the very end of the show, and so that's the trade-off, and we felt like we wanted to dispense with that so that the last 3.5 hours of the show could be about the characters and about the resolution of the characters. That's what the show is really about. It's about resolving, what is the fate of these people.
Okay, then with all that out of the way, let's get to the Fast Reflex Awards.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Great job to the 10 names down here. You guys were the fastest last week and dominated in the speed department, so good job. Also, it was awesome last week to see how many of you guys wrote in the comments section, Saeed owned. It was pretty cool to see how many of you guys will actually miss him. This is only the second episode in the entire show of Lost to be shown in chronological order. The other one, it was in season 2 and it was called The Other 48 Days. So I'm going to do this recap also in chronological order, unlike my other season 6 recaps. So let's get it on. We start off with a woman named Claudia who pops up out of the water and holds on to a piece of a ship. So how long ago is this actually taking place, and in what time period was it in? Well, according to Jorge Garcia, the guy who actually plays Hurley in the show, in his podcast, he said that the script said that 2 millennia passed between the end events of this episode and the discovery of the Adam and Eve skeletons in 2004. That means that this would most likely take place between 50 BC and 50 AD, most likely. And then also, I know some people are telling me that some spoilers before the episode said that this episode would take place in 23 AD, so that's another option. After all, we see in just a little bit that Latin is spoken, and at that time period, Latin was the dominant language. Children would also be named after the Emperor of Rome, and the first emperor who ruled from 41 to 54 AD was named Claudius, and we know that this girl here is named Claudia. So Claudia sees the island in the distance and ends up washing up on shore, standing up to reveal that she's super pregnant. She heads over to a stream in the jungle to drink some water, and she sees the reflection of a woman in it. The woman takes Claudia to the cave she lives in, gives her food, and heals her. They talk in Latin, and the woman tells Claudia that she also came to the island by accident. Claudia keeps asking her questions, and the woman tells her that each question will just lead to another question, and to just be grateful that she's alive. Possibly the writer's saying the same thing to us. I know there was some confusion here because they start off speaking in Latin, and then all of a sudden switch to perfect English. This doesn't mean that they're now speaking in English. They're still speaking in Latin, but like the episode Solitary with Saeed back in season 1, they speak in English so we don't have to read subtitles the whole time, and it's actually pretty common in film. A little bit later, Claudia goes into labor and a boy is born. Claudia names him Jacob, and I hope it wasn't just me, but was that kid's face scary or what? It kind of reminded me of the Joker for some reason. But another baby is unexpectedly born, Jacob's twin brother, who Claudia says she doesn't have a name for, and unfortunately, the producer said he'll never be named. No! It's kind of funny because if you remember, Ben said before that they don't even have a name for it when he was referring to the smoke monster, and now we learn that the Man in Black is literally nameless. And why Claudia still looked like she was carrying twins after she gave birth? Who knows? It's also interesting to note here that the second boy has dark hair and he has dark material around him, whereas Jacob has light material and light hair. And the second boy is kind of fidgety and restless, whereas Jacob isn't. Also, the woman is wearing both light and dark clothing. She looks on Jacob and he who must not be named like they were her own children, and when Claudia asks if she can hold the second boy, the woman goes, "I'm sorry," and
boom! Headshot!
That means that Claudia is now the third mother-in-law to come to the island pregnant and have her child stolen from her after giving birth and then also raised by another. This other two are Claire with Aaron and then Rousseau with Alex. We then go to the kid in black, or the boy in black, or the twin in black, whatever he's called here, 13 years later, and he finds a game in the sand. The game is actually a variation of the ancient Egyptian game called Seanie, the oldest known board game in the world, dating back as far as 3100 BC. Seanie in Egyptian means game of passing. Egyptians believed in determinism or fate, and also luck. So because of determinism and the element of luck in winning Seanie, players who won were then thought of as protected under the major Egyptian gods, like Taret. Many ancient Egyptians were even buried with the game, and they believed that it would ease the dead's passage through the afterlife. And as we'll see later, Mother dies with the Seanie game next to her. Another connection is that the black and white pieces were called pawns, which some of the Losties have said that they are being used as pawns by Jacob and the Man in Black. And the last thing about Seanie is that the Egyptian Book of the Dead actually mentions it. It reads, "Please the deceased at playing Seanie and sitting in God's hall, and of coming forth as a living soul." So Jacob goes up to the boy in black and he tells Jacob that he just knows how to play the game, and Jacob says that he'll play as long as they don't tell Mother. So we shift over to Mother, who's weaving her loom, and as we know, Jacob makes his own later on. She can tell Jacob's lying and she makes him tell her what happened, so a little bit later she goes to sit next to the boy in black and he knows that Jacob told her. She tells him that Jacob doesn't know how to lie. Mother also informs him that she left the game for him and that he, the boy in black, is special. Now, special is a term we've heard before used to describe key characters throughout the show. It's used to describe three main people, mostly Locke, also Desmond and Walt, as well as the island itself. Every person that's been deemed special has had some sort of ability, whether it's been Miles or Hurley or Walt or Desmond or Locke. All of them have had one. The twin in black thought that the game came from beyond the sea, but she quickly denies that anything exists outside of the island, and that the island is the only thing there is. When he asks her where she came from then, she says from her mother, who happens to be dead. So he asks her what dead means, and she says, "It's something you'll never have to worry about." We go a bit later to the twins chasing a boar into the jungle, but they see some warriors in the distance, so they run home to go tell Mother, who tells them that those men are not like them, because the three of them are special, that all those men want is to fight, destroy, and corrupt, and that it always ends the same. She also says that she's made it so they can never hurt each other, that is, the Man in Black and Jacob. So she blindfolds them and leads them to a secret area in the jungle, where there's a cave with an addicting golden light emanating from it, and a stream leading into the cave. Mother tells them that that is the reason that they're on the island, but that they must never enter the cave. The boy in black can't take his eyes off the light, saying it's beautiful, and Mother claims that a little bit of that light is inside every man, but that people always want more. Mother tells the twins that even though people can't take the light, they still might try to, and if the light goes out here, it goes out everywhere. I know a lot of people are probably going, "Oh great, what's this light thing? More questions." But actually, I think the light in the source was supposed to be a big answer to the mystery of the island. The source keeps the world alive and keeps the light on, and if the light goes off, the world ends, which is why it needs protection. Simple as that. I'm pretty sure that's the only explanation we're going to get as far as the source. As Mother says, mankind will never understand this life force.